Hello everyone, Xflyn here, and today we're back with our Ritualist Molten Blast build, which got even better, even stronger, even faster, even cracked, however you can call it. We move even faster than before, we do much more damage, we can traverse through maps even faster, and we just going through all the maps without even worrying about. We fixed our boss damage, which was kind of issue, and I'll explain you all the items and all the changes I made. So stick with it, and let's start. So probably first of all, let's go through the gear or items that remind me of my mess in my inventory. I was just doing some mapping. So first of all, let's go over the main weapon. So in this case, we want one-handed mace with as high attacks per second as we can get. Also, we kind of want a high physical damage. On top of that, stats you want to looking accuracy, obviously, because you are accuracy stacking. You need +4 to all level attack skills. Then onslaught on killing hits is nice to have, and some attack speed as well. So in this case, I have 1.92 attack speed, which is good. The more attack speed you have, the faster damage you do. So I went for this weapon, and we got put one socket for gain 5% of damage as extra damage of all elements. And since right now we're running Trinity, well, it just helps to maintain our Trinity stacks, which will come over after we cover the gems. So next, the helm, haven't changed anything much. The same constricted command Viper Cap. Same require 5 fewer enemies to be surrounded, and since we count as always surrounded, it helps us through the passive tree to help to get a lot of boosts in our case. Moving on next, this Palmo Dreamer Shrine Scepter, and what it does, it just basically meme thing, which, well, I actually enjoy playing with it. So let's start first. It grants level 18 impurity. In my case, you can get higher, you can get lower, but in this case I got this one. And it gives additional chaos resistance, which is good to have. It gives some attributes, which is not really something super crazy. Gain 27% of damage of extra chaos damage, but the most important thing, grants effect of Dreaming Gloom Shrine. And this does let enemies explode, dealing chaos damage equal to quarter of the maximum life. So this just helps to clear up, and even before when we haven't used this, we didn't have much of the problems while clearing the maps, but with this one, it's just so much fun. It's so much better. It's not necessary. If you want, you can just rock simple one-handed mace or dual hand mace setup, just with a slower attack speed but more projectiles. So, but in my case, as you can see, it's just insane. So it's not necessary, but it's really nice to have. Now, moving on next, we can cover body armor. On body armor, you want the highest evasion rating as you can get. So in my case, it's almost 2k evasion. And then there's just the stats to cap your resistances. So in my case, it's cold, lighting, and fire. And basically that's it. On the gloves, haven't changed much. Hand of wisdom and action, spiral wraps. You want to try to get with at least 2 sockets, so we can put two cat talismans for increased accuracy rating. And basically that's it. Same thing as from last time, Headhunter. It's some people might say it's not mandatory. In my case, it's mandatory because it's hell of the fun to play with it. So that's why I'm not even trying to get with something else in my case. Moving on next, boots. The boots is the same as from the last time. Probably I should upgrade it, but for now I am fine. Evasion rating, max life, resistances, and increased evasion rating. That's all you need. Now moving on next on the rings. So on the rings we rocking 2 of the breach rings, and in here it's basically the accuracy stacking and stat stacking, resistance and life. So as priority, at my case, I went for the stats and accuracy as much as I can get, and after that we can go for resistances, max life, and some attack modifiers you can if you can afford. next ring is same thing. It's stats, accuracy, resistances. If you can get, I got this with nice 15 dexterity corruption, and some additive damage rolls, which is pretty bad, like tier 3 and tier 9. This is bad. And next we're using Calandra Touch just to have this ring converted for the same one. And for the amulet, we're using Astromantis, the same Astromantis, just with a little bit higher roll. So in my case, it's 114. And we anointed Falcon Technique, so 1% increased attack speed per 25 dexterity. Next, charms. Well, I'm using Arakalis Gift just to grant immunity to poison. Then we're using Rite of the Passage, Golden Charm, which is not a necessary, but once again, it's one of those things which is really nice to have, and it just makes your build better. So in my case, we have Possessed by Spirit of the Wolf for 17 seconds on use, and this grants us 50% chance on maim on attack hit, 30% increased skill speed, and 50% increased movement speed and break armor equal of 10% of hit damage dealt. So this is really fun to have. I couldn't afford cat yet, so I just went for the wolf, and it was working pretty fine. And last but not least is Silver Charm, which your speed is unaffected by slows, and everyone hates slows, so well, that's self-explanatory. And this is the main setup of the main skill, which is Molten Blast, and the main movement skill, which uses Bone Shatter. And on the offhand, we obviously using the Last Lament just for the bossing. And with this one, you will not have any problems with the bosses. With the map bosses, you can just instantly delete them without any issues at all. And the price of the Scourge Bow actually dropped down quite a lot, and it's quite affordable basically for most of the people. So just grab one of these, and the better stats you can get, the more damage you do. But even with this one, which is mine, and it's actually pretty bad stats, I have no troubles whatsoever. So how we do everything during the mapping, we're just using the Molten Blast just to kill the mobs. As movement skill, we can just use Bone Shatter. Just try to do not hit the objects, because with the objects you just can't stuck a little bit, and you just need to move around. And whenever you meet the boss, you just activate Composed Requiem and just blast the boss away with our crossbow skill, and we have no issues whatsoever. So once we went after the items, now we can go over the gear and how it works. So first of all, impurity, well, that comes from our scepter, and it gives us chaos resistance. That's nothing too crazy. Still nice to have, and pretty self-explanatory. For Requiem, which is the skill of the crossbow, we are using Elemental Armament 2, we are using Stoicism 2, we're using Concentrate Area, and we're using Rakata's Flow for even more damage. If you want, you can actually change Rakata's Flow to the Molten Blast if you want. In my case, I really didn't need that, so it's up to you if you want. If you don't have, that's okay, but that helps. Now moving on next, Bone Shatter. All the skills haven't changed from the last time. It's basically movement skill. I barely using it because most of the time I'm using my Molten Blast as my movement skill, but we just go over through really quick. Is Defy 2, so we can just use it even without our mana because of our helmet. Then we're using Heightened Accuracy, so it gives more accuracy rating. Rage 3, so it grants rage on melee hit if we hit something with a skill. Rapid attack, so for even more attack speed. And Stoicism for some extra damage on this, even though we are not actually using this as our damage skill. And then we're using Molten Blast, obviously, as our main skill. So on Molten Blast, we're using no projectiles. So in this case, we can fire shitload of projectiles to all of the screen and all of the map. Then we're using, once again, Defy 2, just so we can blast even if we are without mana. As you can see, I'm down on the mana and I can still use it. So because of this, Defy 2. Then we're using Height and Accuracy 2 for the increased accuracy rating. Then Ricochet 2, so we can chain from terrain with our skill, so it adds a little bit of clearing speed, especially in closed up spaces. And last but not least, I'm using Rigwald's Ferocity, and for this one, it just grants us 20% more attack speed and 15% less damage. If you want, as I said, you can switch up this one with Rakiata's Flow and have a little bit more DPS. In my case, I just wanted speed. The damage is pretty fine during mapping, so I didn't even need that. And now we're using Trinity, and we're using Herald of Thunder, we're using Wind Dancer, Herald of Ash, and Herald of Ice. And you might ask, how the hell do we fit everything in here while we have only 210 spirit? Well, basically it's pretty simple, and so the scepter gives 110 spirit, right? 100 comes from the scepter, 10 comes from the rabbit talisman, so in total we have 110. And there's one thing which helps us a lot, which is probably a bug which is not intended, and probably they will fix it quite fast, but for now it's working. So how does it work? So in this case we have Trinity. Well, for Trinity you just do more elemental damage with each type, and with more the elemental damage you do with each type, you gain stacks, and with the stacks you get more elemental damage per resonance and more skill speed. So in this case, this actually asks for 100 spirit, and we are using Diala's Desire lineage support gem, which gives us plus level to supported skills and cost and reservation multiplier. So actually it costs less than 100. And now the main part of the thing, which how everything is working. So if you can see, if I activate all my skills and I want to put like precision as example, it doesn't let us to put precision because it says current spirit is 0, right? But if we disable one of the other spirits like Herald of Thunder, we put this one, kaboom, and it's working. We want cannibalism, which grants us maximum life. That's not a problem. We want to put it like this. Nope, we cannot. We deactivate it, we put it back, and we activate, and it works. So this is how we are using some extra gems right here. And so for the precision, as all the other gems, is basically for accuracy rating stacking and cannibalism, just to get more HP after the kill. Next, Herald of Thunder, we're using Lightning Mastery, Elemental Armament, Elemental Focus, Embitter for extra cold, and Long Shot for even more AoE. On Wind Dancer, pretty simple, it's almost same as from the last time. Oh, it gives us pretty much of more evasion rating, and it hits enemies after they with those skills when enemies hits us. So we're using Life Leech, we're using Blind 2, we're using Knockback, so it just knockbacks mobs a little bit away from us. We're using Maim and Magnified Area, so we have a little bit more of AoE. Then we're using Herald of Ash with Magnified Area, Prolonged Duration, Swift Affliction, Fire Mastery, and Acrimony. And last but not least, we're using Herald of Ice, and here we're using Elemental Armament, Overreach, Long Shot, Cold Mastery, and Biting Frost. And we actually put all these gems together just for one thing, which will come over in the second, which we have in our passive tree. So it actually gives us bonuses of all the heralds we are running together. So but basically this is our gem setup which I made right now, and I have no problems whatsoever doing tier 16 fully juiced daily maps. It just goes through everywhere, so I don't have any problems. So, and even though I am pretty low, I'm level 93 only, my resistance is kept. I have 49% of chaos res. I have 73% of evasion rating for total 28,000. We have 300 strength. We have nearly 800 dexterity, and we have nearly 500 int. And now we can just go over the passive tree and see what we crafted up here. So nothing changes in our ritualist tree. We're just taking one ring slot and we're taking bonuses from rings and amulets. Then we're taking charm slot and instead consume maximum mana to trigger charm slots, to trigger charms itself. And here haven't changed anything much. We're just taking AoE, attack speed, dex, whatever stats you want. Then the first three is right here. We're taking some accuracy and attack speed. Then we're moving next. The first jewel we're using, Heart of the Vial. And in this case, I'm using gain 15% of damage as extra cold damage, 3% of damage recouped as life, 20% of 12% of damage as extra damage, and increased chance to inflict ailments. Basically, the main stats we're looking here for 2 double gain damage as extra. So in my case, I went for cold and chaos, but it's up to you, whatever you want to do, and whatever skills you, whatever Heart of Well you can buy, whatever you can afford, right? Okay, so then we're moving down here, and from here the first part is right here, Winter Owl. So increased evasion rating per 10 intelligence. We're stacking intelligence, we're getting more evasion rating. Gain accuracy rating equal to your intelligence. Once again, stacking intelligence gives us plenty of benefits. Then right here, we're taking all the evasion nodes. We take 100% increased evasion from body armor and some other dexterity nodes. Moving on next, on the second jewels locket, we're using heroic strategy, and what we actually want on the here is just to be line of Olrot and Kalgur. The numbers which we have right here doesn't really matter. In this case, it just transforms any of the major skill node to this one. Well, what it says, gain no inherent bonus from intelligence and 1% increased evasion rating per 2 intelligence. So this is how we stacking our intelligence in our case. And as you can see, without it we have 66, with it we have 73. So it's pretty big boost of our survivability. Next, we are taking all this wheel here for attack damage and accuracy, and obviously one of the most important stats, Falcon Dive, increased attack speed per 250 accuracy rating. Then moving on next, we're taking all the increased damage with one-handed weapons. Actually, this doesn't work at all right now, I believe, because we're using double-handed weapons. I was using this one before I had Palm of the Dreamer, but right now we're using 2 of those, so basically we can just take those out and invest somewhere else. Probably we can go to grab some extra dex nodes or whatever, but it's fine. I have no problems even with those extra stats, which doesn't give us anything. Next, for the jewel socket, we went for a one of the normal jewels, which actually increases accuracy rating, increases intelligence, and some projectile damage. Basically, I just went for accuracy and increased int. But in your case, just grab whatever stats you want, maybe some to fix some resistances or whatever. Then moving on next, we are coming to this wheel. So self-explanatory attributes, damage per lowest attribute. So this is nothing really special or crazy. Now we are taking this small wheel, the same as the last time, for the increased attack damage while surrounded, and also it just increases attack damage while on low life. In case you will go on low life, you will do a little bit more damage. Then moving on next, the one more jewel socket, which is against the darkness, and in this case I just went for extra 3% damage as extra cold damage and 2% increased dexterity, so we can get even more dexterity, and this applies for all the 3 nodes right here. So this one, increased attack speed while surrounded, That's great. We are surrounded all the time, gain 3% extra cold damage and 2% increased dex. Same story here and same story here. So triple nodes with extra cold damage and extra dex, and some evasion rating and attack damage nodes as well. Then moving on next, we are moving right here and splitting up, split into this wheel, the same as the last time. Increased attack damage, all the surrounding nodes, and this one, it reduces a little bit of our accuracy rating, but it increases our attack damage by a lot. So we are taking this. Then the jewel, on this jewel, I just needed a little bit of more fire resistance just to cap it over. Then increased accuracy, increased elemental damage, whatever else you want, whatever else you can get. Basically, the stats or accuracy rating is what you're looking for. Then on here, we are splitting right here. All obviously, we're taking all the attack speed and dexterity nodes here and accuracy rating, and here for some extra accuracy rating. And now we're moving to our final line right here. Obviously, increased attack damage, increased accuracy rating, and then moving to resolute technique, which accuracy rating is double and never deal critical hits. So we do not deal critical hits, we do not care about that, but we stacking shitload of accuracy. And last but not least, for this socket, we're using Coming Calamity, which I told you before. That's why we're using triple Herald setup. So it says if you have increased cold, fire, and lightning damage while affected by Herald of Ice, Herald of Ash, and the Herald of Thunder. So we basically dealing 40% increased cold damage, we dealing 40% increased fire damage, and we dealing 40% increased lightning damage because, well, we are affected by those three heralds all the time. And another one which I get is Fulmination. It doesn't actually do much for us, so you can get much better things together with this, or just whatever you want, whatever you can afford, because at this point some prices can go really high and really steep, so it depends on your budget. But one thing to mention, probably what's the next upgrades would be, is to have some jewel right here on Zealot Oath skill tree, so we can allocate nodes without connecting them to tree, and then we would like to grab all these 3 nodes here for 25% increased attack damage, so that total gives us 75% increased attack damage. And eventually we want something that gives us pure power for 2% increased lightning damage per 10 intelligence. But those starts with a price of around 20 divines only for this one small node, so it gets pricey. It depends on your budget, it depends how much you actually want to spend. But in my case, it's really fun build. I really having a blast playing with it, and actually it's one of the best builds which I played this season, and I really like it. I really like the speed of it. I really like the basic mechanics of it. One thing to mention, obviously, you need pretty good PC to handle all the explosions and everything, because in Hideout it's one story, but whenever you go to the full mapping, it can get just pretty much of the everything in maps, wherever there's explosives, explodes, mobs, skills, whatever. So basically that's it. So yeah, I really been enjoying playing with this build. I really like it. I might do few more upgrades here and there, but in most of the things I feel like it's near completed build for my liking. So basically that's it. So thanks for watching, stay chill, hit hard, and see you in the next one.